Have you been looking for a way to improve the audio quality in your video recordings? On today's tech tip, we're going to show you how. One of the things that I always tell people when they're doing videos for the first time is to not forget the audio. Audio, in my opinion, is actually a lot more important than the video quality for a lot of things. If you can't hear a person, it just makes it hard to follow any of the content. So getting good audio the first time around is very, very crucial. Now, there's a number of ways of doing that. Typically, when you're doing anything on Zoom or anything like that, you're using the built-in webcam and you're using the built-in microphone, which is okay for most things. A few tips that you can do, and this applies to any of them, is to find yourself a quiet area, find yourself a quiet room, and position yourself fairly close. But sometimes you don't have that option, or the audio quality, even no matter how hard you try, it just isn't clean. And that's when we start needing some extra tools, which are microphones. Now, microphones are add-on devices. This is one that I have right here. This is a little blue microphone, and there's a number of these that plug into your computer, either via USB or sometimes directly to the audio port, and they improve the audio quality. Now, the nice thing about a thing like this is that you can actually get this microphone on a stand and you can get it actually quite close. What happens with audio is that the further away you are from the microphone, from the pickup device, in this case right now, the microphone that I'm using is actually built into my webcam right up here. There's a little hole right next to the webcam, and my voice actually has to travel the 2.5 feet to that microphone in order to pick it up. Now, if you can have a microphone that's 8 inches away from your face, or in the case of, say, a lavalier microphone, and this is a lavalier microphone right here, you basically put this on your lapel, and now it's literally 4 inches away from my mouth and where the audio is coming from. This quality of microphone, even though this is a fairly inexpensive microphone, this one here is under $20, the audio quality from this $20 microphone will outperform even the best microphones from far away. This is a small little Rode shotgun microphone. It plugs into your devices, and it's got a little connector in the back that connects in. It plugs into your phone or your camera, what have you. And it's made to be a shotgun microphone, so it's got a directional pattern. So what happens is that a shotgun microphone kind of shoots off in a beam kind of like that. And when you're pointing it at something, it picks up the audio in front of it, but not necessarily on the side and the back. Well, that's an advantage. But however, the microphones that we're typically using on webcams and all the built-in stuff, they're what's called omnidirectional, where they pick up literally everything. So if you've got a fridge humming in the background, if you have kids playing in the next room, it'll pick up all of that because it needs to get the audio. And it doesn't know if you're going to be 2 feet away, or if you're going to be 5 feet away, or if you're going to be 10 feet away. So it just kind of picks up everything, and then it does the best it can. Now, by adding on a simple microphone like this, the quality gets much better. So this audio is coming from a small microphone that's built into this receiver. Here is the microphone right here. You can actually see the little hole. And what you'll notice is that it's very close to my mouth. So even though this setup here, which is very inexpensive, it was only about $15 or $20 from the source, the quality of this microphone will actually outperform pretty much even the best built-in microphone on a webcam or on a laptop. Now, there are lots of different examples of this kind of thing. This is the built-in one that came with my iPhone. And if you look at it here, these are just the headphones that came with my iPhone. They typically have this kind of little thing right here. And you'll notice in the back, there's like a little icon that looks like a microphone, and that's where the microphone is. And there's actually a little bit of a little hole in there where it picks up the sound. So when you have this here, obviously your microphone is very close to your mouth and the quality gets better. Now, the reason I point this out is because these kinds of microphones are very inexpensive, and it's one of those things that you can purchase for just a few dollars. And it plugs directly usually into your computer, your laptop, either with a little connector such as this right here. This is a little mini connector. So you'll see that some of them have 3 bands, some of them have 4 bands. Even though they look the same, they're not actually the same. So if you plug something in and it doesn't work, chances are it's because this is an old school microphone and it's meant to plug into stuff like a camcorder or that sort of thing. Whereas these newer ones are designed to be inserted into devices such as phones, laptops, and computers. This is called a TRRS plug. Even though physically they're the same size, they're not the same. Now, this is another example of a microphone that's built into a headset. This is a little MPOW headset that I picked up off of Amazon for about $40. And it's got a little built-in microphone. It plugs into the computer with that same little TRRS plug. And the quality is very good, obviously, because the audio is very, very close. Now, you got to think that, it's a $40 headset. So how much was the mic? It probably wasn't very much. But just the fact that it's so close makes the quality much, much better. So this is a really easy way to improve your audio quality by just switching over to that. Now, higher end examples like these are, fairly expensive. The Yeti Blue is about $150, $175. They can plug in via USB. The audio quality is fantastic, but the price level is a little bit higher. And then you can go all the way up to professional microphones that are even potentially more. This is an example of a wireless microphone that I use for my work. This is made by a company called Sennheiser, which is one of the really high-end manufacturers of audio quality equipment. And this works wirelessly. It transmits from this microphone right here, a little lavalier, which you wear on your lapel, to this receiver, and then this gets plugged into, the other end gets plugged into right there. That gets plugged into your laptop or computer. So here is a couple of examples of different things that you can use. One of the easiest things to start off with is this earbud style, headphone style, if you're doing any kind of Zoom recording, just because it's convenient. Some people don't like wearing the headphones for long periods of time if they're lecturing for a long time, just because it takes up a little bit of pressure on your ears. I personally like the earbud style more, just because I find them a little more comfortable to wear.
Now, I have a lot of people asking me about Bluetooth headsets. I'm currently broadcasting on a set of Bluetooth headsets that I have in my ears right now. These were very expensive. And honestly, the audio quality is very, very poor. There's just a lot of things that can go wrong with Bluetooth headsets. There's a lot of issues, and generally, I don't recommend them.
So this is an example of a lavalier plug-in microphone. This one here is TRRS, which is that little mini plug, but you can also get them with USB plugs. They plug in, they just relate it. Now, one of the things to notice about audio and improving audio quality is the settings. Typically, most devices will have it set up by default, but if you want to get the perfect audio quality, what you can do is you can adjust it. For example, in this application, this is Zoom, we can go to our audio application here in the corner and select our microphone. So just to compare, this is the built-in microphone in my iMac, and this is the built-in microphone, the lavalier. Now, when you have your speakers on and you have a microphone like this, what happens is that sometimes you get some feedback loops because the microphone's picking up your audio and it's just kind of doing it back. Most applications have software to kind of filter that out, but if you can avoid doing it by using either headphones or earbuds with a built-in microphone, that is actually preferable. Now, a lot of newer phones don't have the actual old analog input jack that looks kind of like this. What they do is they have either USB or Lightning. So what they make is they make these little adapters. This one came with my iPhone 10, and it plugs into your iPhone, and then you can plug in the old style headphones and microphones into this. And they actually work pretty well. Another issue with microphones is that typically the cable length. This is a microphone that actually has two lavalier microphones, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of cable here. This one here is quite long. I think it's about 16 feet, which is great. But a lot of the other microphones that come out don't have a long cable. So if you need to walk around and do that kind of stuff, what you can do is you can buy yourself a little extension cable. This extension cable is about 16 feet. It was about $9 on Amazon. So once you have all this equipment, what do you do with it? One of the things is that most applications have built-in audio gain. So that means that they adjust your audio to something that sounds good. If you've ever been on a meeting where everybody sounds pretty good and then one person sounds low, what happens sometimes is that certain microphones just aren't loud enough. And in the Zoom application, the way that we adjust that is we go here into the corner into the audio thing. You can see the green, that means I'm speaking. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. And if I click on this little arrow, it brings me to my selections. This is where I can choose my different microphones. So I can go to my iMac built-in microphone. This is now my webcam audio. And this is my lavalier audio. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but it is quite significant, especially if you're in a noisy environment. It makes a huge difference. Now, to adjust the audio, what we do is we go to audio settings. We go here in the corner, and now we can adjust it. So we can have it set up for different things. You can use automatically adjust, which is probably what most people will have. I don't like to do that. I find that sometimes if you talk really loud, it'll, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. It'll be a little bit low or it'll be too high. So what I like to do is I like to set up my audio. That's too low. Check 1, 2, check 2, 1, 2. That's probably too high. So right about there is kind of the sweet spot. You want it right about in that area where when you're talking, it's going about there. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. so that it sounds good and you don't have any problems. There's also things like suppressed background noise, low, medium, high, that sort of thing. But what happens is that the more suppression you put on, the more risk you are of chopping your audio. So I typically leave it on auto. So I hope that's been helpful. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My name is Jeff Transportin. I work at the Hub as the video and multimedia specialist. More than happy to make any kind of recommendations. There is no right or wrong way of doing things. It's just the way that you're comfortable doing, and depending on what your teaching style is. Reach out, and always happy to help.